So we were discussing about different types of data structure. We have looked at vectors, and we know that vectors are a type of data structure where you have same elements, all are the same. For example, character vector, numeric vector, uh, logical vector. Okay, so a vector consists of the same data types. Now, last time we looked at how to subset vectors. So let's review this a bit. So we create here a vector, a character vector consisting of the terms Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if we run this, okay, you can see that this object days, it's a character, 1 to 5 elements, it's a character vector. Okay, and it automatically prints out the results because we put parentheses in our line of code. Then we have days and then bracket 1. What does it mean? It means that we're just interested in the first element of the days object. If we run this, then it's Monday, since it's the first element. So how about the fourth element? It will give us Thursday. Okay. How about this? Days. We want to subset it and get the first, third, and fourth element. So we expect the answer to be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay, there, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then days 1 to 4 means it's the first up to the fourth element. So that should be Monday up to Thursday. And another way to write this, that days 1 to 4 is days -5. So everything except the fifth element. So since there are only 5 elements in our vector, then putting there -5 means include everything except for the fifth element. So it will yield the same result. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, we then go to the next data structure type, data structure, and then it's a list. A list is an R structure that may contain objects of any other types. And a list can also contain a list. So here we are, let's create this object. Let's call this L1, okay? So here we're creating an object called L1, and it consists of, it's a list of this object, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's modify this a bit. Let's make 3 as an integer. So we have an integer, we have a character, we have, let's create one complex. So 3 plus 2i. Okay, so we have several objects here. You have, and then maybe let's just remove and maybe we can include one, let's include pi. And this will not run. And this will be a character. Right? Or just the EXP. Okay, let's see what this contains. L1, we're coercing it, we're making sure that it's a list. Otherwise, if this is a vector, then R will do what we call implicit coercion. Okay, it will choose the character and make everything into a character. So let's do this. And oops, why didn't it list? Okay, what's wrong here? I'm lacking one list. Open, and then we have to have one more Okay. We close the exponential first, and then the list, and then the object there. What's wrong here? List. This is L1. Can you see, guys, what's wrong here? EXP, and then list, and then L1. Can you see, guys, where I made a mistake? Okay, let's redo this first. Let's not create an object first. Let's just have a list. I'm having a problem with the list 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see this. Okay, error in nag-run na siya. So we already changed this. Okay. Okay, what do you see here, guys? So we created a list. It contains the element 1. This is numeric. And then this is integer. This is character. This is logical. This is the pangalan ito. I forgot the name. The complex. Sorry, it's the complex. And then we have this is an irrational number. Okay. Any questions, guys?
None po, sir.
Okay, so you notice, guys, that a list can take on any element. Okay, if we didn't put the list there, then we'll have a problem. So, for example, this one, Control C, Control V. Let's create an object A1, for example, or A1, and then C. Okay. Here I'm creating an object called A1, and it's a combination of these elements. Okay, what happened, guys?
Became a character.
Yes, it was coerced into a character. Okay, so 1 became character, 2 became character. So R read it and implicitly coerced all the elements there into a character. Okay, but if we use the function list, then as shown here, R accepted the different elements. Okay, so we have here a numeric. This is a 2L is integer, character, logical, complex, and then here is also a numerical value. Okay, so let me let's rerun this and give it a name. We had Control C, Control V. We had I had problems doing that a while ago. I call this L1. Okay, Alt minus L1. Okay, list. I named it L1. Okay, if we run this, okay, so we have here an L1, a list of 6 L1. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
What's the difference between the two? Yung L1 and yung without the L1.
Yung ano,
Yung kanina po,
L1.
yung may L1 and yung without L1.
Yung kanina, let's go back here. Ito ano, yung A1, are you referring to this one?
No sir, yung sa taas po nung ano, yung line 249.
249. Saan yan?
Yung wala pong L1.
Oh, ito walang name, no? Walang name. Ito we just assigned it a name, L1. Okay, ito ililist lang siya, but we don't have a name for it. Ito naman si L1, we gave it a name, so it appears here. It's an object now, no? Object siya na may pangalan na L1. Kaya nag-appear na siya dito sa global environment natin. L1, sabi dito, it's a list of 6. So if you click this, okay, lalabas siya. Ito, no? Lalabas siya dito sa view natin, L1. And it consists of, it's a list of 6. Tapos tingnan nyo guys, may double na 1, integer, di ba? Remember, ginawa natin 2L to, so integer siya. Character, logical, complex, and also double. Okay, did that answer your question?
Yes sir, thank you po.
So gumawa lang tayo ng object na L1. Maganda, it's good to do this, especially kung gagamitin natin ulit yung object na yun. Kasi kung wala siyang pangalan, hindi natin ma-access, no? I-spell out ulit natin yung mga elements na yan. Okay, so I'll show that, I'll illustrate that here. Okay, so i-close ko muna to. Okay, so clear yung class na kapag ang list, it can accommodate different types of different data types. No? So here, list can contain vectors and lists and vectors. So I think wala na yung my vector natin dito. Palitan na natin to guys ng, let's change this with L1. No? L1. Okay, so what do you have here? Let's change this. Gawin natin tong FINSTAD. Okay. May false na tayo kanina to. Gawin natin true. Okay. What do you have here? And let's give this a name. L2. So we have another list consisting of L1 is a list, diba? List to. Tapos ito naman, this is a vector 1, 2, 3. C, 1, 2, 3, it's a vector, a numeric vector. Tapos ito, character lang to, FINSTAD, tsaka ito logical. So we now have another list. It consists of a list, yung L1. Ililist natin si L1, si vector na C, si character na FINSTAD, okay, which technically is also a vector, and true, which is also a vector. Okay, clear yun, guys? So let's run this, L2. Okay, we now have L2. It's a list of 4. Okay, bakit list of 4 siya? Si list mismo na L1, si vector na 1, 2, 3, si vector na isa lang na character, at saka si vector na logical. Okay, ano yung laman ng ano? What's inside L2? So this is inside L2. So this is the first element of the first element of the list, which is L1. And the first element of L1 is 1, then 2, then 3 is yellow, 4 is false, 5 is 3 plus 2i, and then the sixth element of list 1 is the exponential. And then, ano yung pangalawang element ng L2? Diba yung vector na 1, 2, 3? Third element is FINSTAD. And fourth element is the logical value 2. Okay? So if I click this L2, dito, no? So tingnan nyo yung laman niya. Yung unang laman niya, okay, the total is a list of 4. Okay? So si vector number L2 is a list consisting of 4 elements. Ano yung mga laman nun? May list siya na 6, yung L1 to, Okay, then meron siyang a vector na double, numeric to na 1, 2, 3. Meron siyang vector na character, FINSTAD, at saka meron siyang logical na vector na 2. Okay, so here we saw how to combine a list, how to create a list from both a list itself and a vector. Okay, any questions there, guys?
None, sir.
Yan. Ito naman, guys, ano to? Diba vector to, vector, well, character lang to at saka logical. So here you have a combination of vectors. So dapat unahin natin ito, example na to. Ito kasi, guys, it's just listing, no? Inilist lang niya yung vector na days. Di ba ang days na ito? The vector days is a character vector, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So isasama natin sa list natin si vector na days, si vector na 1, 2, 3, 4, isang one element na vector na hello, at saka isa din na false. If we run this, okay, papakita lang sa atin yung mga laman ng list na to. So this is a vector, character vector. This is a numeric vector, 1, 2, 3. This is a character vector, isa lang naman, and logical vector. Okay, any questions, guys? So paki-chat lang kung clear lahat. Kung yes, clear, paki-chat na lang. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you for your feedback. Okay, then let's go here, guys. Okay, let's have a more complicated list. So here, my list, we're creating an object called my list. And then we're enclosing it in parentheses so that it will print automatically. And it consists of, again, we're imposing that this be a list that consists of, yung A, guys, anong klaseng ano to? Anong klaseng vector to? Is this a vector? A is equal to 1 to 5?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's a vector, no? It's a vector. Anong klaseng vector? Alala niyo yung colon?
Integer, sir.
Sorry?
Integer po.
Yes, integer siya, no? Kasi 1 to 5, diba yung colon? Pag colon, it generates an integer vector. And then for B, you have here a character. Okay, B is equal to, hi there, C is equal to, okay, so function, a function of X, which is X times sine of X. Okay, so before we run this, okay, in-explain ko na ito sa ilalim, no? My list contains three things. An object A, B, and C. Yung length nila magkakaiba. Si A has a length of 5, B has a length of 1, kasi isang character lang to, hi there, and C is a function, so it doesn't really have a length, okay? But technically, it's a length of 1. So let's run this. Okay, so tingnan natin yung elements ni vector mylist, andito na yan, no? So it's always helpful to look at the object that you created, mylist. If you click this, ito siya. My list is a list containing 3 elements. So you have the first element, which is equal to A, it's called A, and then it's an integer vector. B is a character vector consisting of 1, and C is a function. Okay, it's a formula, it's a function. Okay, so ito siya, no? Linis lang siya dito. Okay, so in a nutshell, guys, ang list, it's also a data structure that can consist of elements that have different types. So we saw that a list can contain numeric, integer, can contain character, or complex, or logical, can consist of dates. Okay. And as distinguished from a vector, a list can contain these several data types, while a vector can only contain one singular type, one type. If you try to create a vector that has several data types, it will automatically make our uh, coerce the elements there. Naalala niyo yung diagram na binigay ko sa inyo, yung logical, tapos numeric, tapos integer, okay, tapos complex, no? Tapos then yung character. So take note of
Sir,
that. Yes?
I have a question po dun sa line na yun.
Saan?
Dun po sa line sa list na yun, sir.
Sige. Yes?
What's the difference between that and between that and removing yung A, B, and C? Like yung what we did kanina.
Removing the object A, B, and C.
No, like sir, like kunwari po like list, open parenthesis, 1:5, comma,
Sige.
hi there.
Yeah. Who's this?
Inigo po.
Inigo, yeah. Thank you for that question. Good question, no? Sige, gawin natin yung class, ha? Kung ano mangyayari, Control C, Control V. So Inigo is asking, what if we don't include the name? Okay, so let's just let's remove the names. Okay, so here you have my list. Let's call this my list 1. Okay, to distinguish it from the original my list. And it's we said that by this function list, it will accept differences in the elements. Okay, it will not coerce the elements, the different data types in this list. So let's see what happens. So this is now my list 1, and we remove the name of the object. Okay. Okay, let's run this. Okay, ano nangyari? Punta tayo guys dito sa my list 1. Okay, so ano nangyari guys? What's different now? Same thing guys, kaso nawala na yung pangalan. Diba dito nakalagay A, B, C. Okay, so nakalagay lang dito, yung first element ng my list 1 will be an integer of 1 to 5, and yung second element niya character, and third element niya function. Okay, so natanggal lang yung yung name. Doon sa my list kasi natin, you gave it a name, A, B, C. A corresponds to the integer, B corresponds to the character, and C to the function. Okay, Inigo, did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you for those questions. I'd encourage you to ask questions. I appreciate guys yung clarification na ganyan. Okay, so let's just continue with our coding. We can ask for the type of, di ba, si my list, ito yun, di ba? Si my list consists of yung ABC natin. Let's ask for the type of my list. Okay, so as expected, guys, it's a list. Length of my list, we know that this is 3. Kasi ano ba si my list again? Ayan o, A, B, C. These are the 3 elements of my list. So yung length niya is 3. Now let's take a look at this. My list, bracket 1, ibig sabihin yung first element niya. Okay, di ba yung first element dun sa my list, it's an object A, and it consists of a numerical vector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ay, hindi pala, character vector pala to. Character vector. Now, can we do this? My list, tapos yung first element niya, plus 1. Could you try that, guys? Is it okay to do that?
Error po.
Yan. Okay, error in my list 1 plus 1, non-numeric argument to binary operator. So, medyo may mga rules guys sa pag gagawa ng ng arithmetic operation, especially kung list yung if you're dealing with list. No? Okay, so but we'll have more examples of that. As of now, hindi muna natin titingnan yan. Pinakita ko lang sa inyo na we just cannot do math on lists, no? Pero pag vector yan, madali. Tingnan natin ha. So let's go here, insert R. So let's create this object, vec1, and vec1 is natin 1 to 5. 1 to 5 siya, diba? So hindi natin in-enclose, pero andito na siya vec, so vec1. No? Click this. Ayun. Hindi siya okay. Anyway, vec1. Vec1. Okay, so we know it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no? So can we add vec1, which is a vector of integers? Tignan nyo guys, ano nangyari? Vec plus 1. Nag-add siya, no? It's pretty much straightforward sa ano, no, sa vectors, but not that much in lists. Okay, so one other thing that we're going to learn in this subject are different functions. So I think we have done this before, but let's just for the purpose of review and repeat. No? So let's create, remember this guys, yung R norm. What do you recall about this?
Random number.
Yes, it will generate random numbers. Let's call it R1 lang. It will generate set of random numbers. Ano yung mean and standard deviation ito?
0 and 1.
Yes, mean of 0 and standard deviation of 1. So that's the default, unless you want to specify. So you'll have to write mean is equal to, so what's the mean and what's the standard deviation? You have to specify that. In this case, we're not specifying it because it's okay na sa atin yung 0 yung mean, standard deviation is equal to 1. So let's run this, set that seed, and let's create this object called R1. Okay, so we should have the same numbers, guys. Okay, pareho ba tayo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So we have the same. Okay, so ito naman, another example. Set that seed 2, 3, 4. So let's create another, an object called my values, consisting of 100 random numbers with a mean of 450 and the standard deviation of 10. Okay, so let's run this. Let's run the first two codes first. Okay. So it prints here. Okay. So why did it automatically print, guys? Why did it automatically print? Kasi linagyan natin sa parentheses, yung my values, yung object na to. Okay, but if you just want to get the first my values tab, the first, shall we say, let's say 10 values, the first 10 values of my values, and then let's get the tail my values, the last, say the last 5. Okay, so R will generate here. We're having first 5 and last 5 para first 5 values of the object my values and last 5 values. So on this, okay, ito, no? First 5 and last 5. Did we get the same values, guys? Should appear here also. Did we get the same values?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you should get the same values. So 4, 5, 6. Ito yung, ano yung 1 dito, guys? Sa head, ito yung first 6. Sa tail naman, ito yung last 5 pala. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's continue with the with running the codes of this one. So what's the mean of the object my values? Okay, the mean, the median, the maximum, minimum. Okay, so kailan natin itong sabay-sabay, guys. This one. Okay. Let's run mean, median, minimum, maximum. Okay. Control Enter. Okay, and then you see here the results. The results can be seen also below. Yan, yung below, guys. And then it can also be seen here in your console. So isa-isa ni console, rewrite yung code. So mean is 449. So this is really very close to 450. No? And if you notice, if you keep on increasing the sample size, it will really approximate 450. Median, 450.257. Okay, and then minimum, 419. We should get the same values. Guys, pare-pareho ba tayo ng values? Yung mean,
Yes, sir.
max. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then the sum is 449783. And then the standard deviation. By the way, how can you create a formula for the mean? Let's create an object called mean1. Let's compute for the mean of my values. What will be the formula? Should be, how do you compute for the average?
Sir, add mo everything.
Okay, so what should that be? Diba sum? Sum of what?
My values.
My values. Okay, that's our object. My values. Okay. And then, what do we do with this?
Divide by 1000.
Okay, divide by, I don't want to write 1000. How do you get 1000? Divided by the length, diba? Diba length is natin? Tama ba, guys? The length gives us the number of observations. So if you run this mean1, okay, then let me just type mean1. Okay, is it the same as the mean here, 4497839?
Same po, sir.
Okay, same. Huh? And then you can also do, guys, the standard deviation. Sige nga, 1 minute nga, guys. Standard deviation. Try. So it's a formula for standard deviation. It's the sum of x minus x bar, right? Squared over n minus 1, and then everything under square root. Tama? Sige, sabay-sabay natin gawin. So let's call it SD1. Okay, so what should it be first, guys? Yung nasa loob muna, yung x minus x bar. How do you get that? Ano, guys? X minus x bar. Ano yung x natin? My values, no? So that's my values. Okay. Minus.
Mean1.
Okay, mean ng my values, no? Or mean1, pero gamitin natin yung ano, guys, yung my values. Then what do we do with this? We what? Diba? We square this. Tama? Tama ba? X minus x bar squared. And then what do we do with this?
Yeah, just double click it and quit.
Divided by?
Right.
Length minus 1.
Yeah, n minus 1, diba? Paano n minus 1 natin?
Length
Yung length.
minus 1.
Correct.
Minus 1.
Length ng my values, right? My values. And then we have to subtract 1 to it. Kasi this is the sample standard deviation. Sample standard deviation. So this is the numerator, my values minus mean of my values squared. And then everything divided by length of my values minus 1. Take note na sinarado natin sa parenthesis yung denominator. And then what do we do with this? Everything, guys. What do we do with everything? Parang may kulang pa to, guys. Ito.
Square root, sir.
Bago mag-square root, kailangan ano gagawin natin dito? Di ba may summation sign yan, di ba?
Opo, sir.
So anong gagawin natin? There should be a sum here. So sum muna natin. Sum natin yung my values minus mean niya squared. Okay, then close it. Tama ba? Isa-sum natin yung mga my values minus mean niya na naka-square. Sum of that divided by yung n minus 1 and then get the square root. Open and close. Okay, so medyo mahaba-habang formula, no? But it's just a practice on how we can write this formula. Check na natin, guys. Oops, may kulang ako. Kulang natin. So, mahirap pag mahabang formula eh. 1, 2, 3, 1. Kulang ako ng isa dito. And kulang ako ng isa dito. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, let's try this. Error pa rin. Okay, i-decipher natin, guys, ha. Una muna, my values minus mean of my values. Square natin siya. And we get the sum. Sum of that divided by the length. Length minus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tama yung tama yung error in unexpected symbol. Square root.
Sir,
Yes.
I think yung po dapat, yung katabi po ng square root, yung number 2, dapat po 1 lang siya. 1 closing parenthesis lang po.
Which
Yung
one?
tabi ng 2. Square
Tabi ng 2 ito.
Ay, sa square pala po. Dapat po, isa lang po yung nasa right side ng 2.
This one?
Yes po. Tapos,
Okay.
may
And then,
dagdagan po ng isa dun sa
sa
after
dulo?
ng my values. Hindi po.
Dito?
Sa
Dito.
yan po.
Oo, kasi dapat my values. Yes, you're correct. Oo, yeah. Okay. Inigo, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Inigo, ha? Ayan, okay na yan. SD1. Okay, 9.84. Thank you, tama. Mali ako dun sa, sa position na ng squared. Sometimes it's better to write it first. Kasi binivisualize ko lang kanina. So, mali yung pag-ano ko. So, pareho, no? 9.849226. Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Inigo, for pointing that out. Okay, then, ano pa ba yung ginawa natin? Okay, then the median, mean, maximum, sum, okay, standard deviation. Okay, so we got those. Very easy in R, no? Very easy to compute for these values. Okay, and then let's see. Class, anong class nito, guys? Anong answer nito? Definitely, it will be a numeric. No? Numeric siya. Length, we know that this should be 1,000. Okay. How about this, guys? Okay. Pakita lang natin yung head. Yung first 5 values lang ng head, of the log of my values. You can get the log of a vector. Generate lang natin first 5 yan. Okay, first 5. Okay, let's compare that guys with asa may values natin. Kasi yung my values natin, diba? Yan o, yung ang mean natin yan 450 tapos ang standard deviation 10. So these are in the hundreds. Pero pag kinuha natin yung log guys, lumiliit siya, no? Later on guys, explain ko na in finance, usually kinukuha natin yung log ng mga numbers, mga variables in order to scale it down. Lalo kung mga big numbers, no? Kunyari, papakita ko lang ha. Let me show you for example. Let's say that Z is equal to kunyari, 1 so that's 1 million up to, let's say, ito na lang. Let's just write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gawin natin 1 million hanggang so 1. So these are 100 numbers from 1 million to 1 million, 1,000 pala, 1,000 numbers. So let's generate this. So may Z tayo, no? Ito yung Z natin. These are integers. If we get the log of Z, so yung mga numbers na to from 1 million to 1 million, 1,100. Pag kinuha natin guys yung Z niya, what you notice? Yung 1 million naging 13 point something lang. No? Okay, so it scales the value. Kaya nga, oftentimes, kunyari malalaking values yan, kunyari GDP, GNP, which can run in billions, trillions, what we do is to get the log of that so that the value is scaled. Mas manageable siya. Okay, so remember guys, magkaiba yung, ano base nito? Guys, anong base nito? Remember guys, yes, E, correct, no? So for example, I'll write this log of Z and base is equal to exp 1. It's the same, no? This is the same. Yung log of Z na to, at saka log of Z base E to the 1, you get the same answer. Okay, you get the same answer. Okay, pareho lang yan. Kasi ito presupposes that the base is E. On the other hand, guys, you can write log to the base 10 of my values. Iba naman to. Ito to the base 10. Okay, so you see the values are different. Okay, getting the log to the base 10 will yield lower numbers compared to the base E. Kaso mas maraming gamit kasi yung E, no? As compared to the base 10. Kaya yun ang ginagamit natin. So here we create an object called my square root and it just gets the square root of all the values in my values. So square root lang to ng lahat ng values natin. Then we know that we can create the histogram. Okay, we can plot. Asan siya? Asan yung histogram natin? Yun. Okay, this is the histogram of my values. We can also generate other plots.
Yes, ate.
Plot my values.
सुतो पे है क्लास में है ये
Pakimute na lang, no?
आप थोड़ी देर में क्लास में है हम क्लास में है हाँ भले
Sino yun? Kindly mute, please. Okay, thank you. All right, so ito guys yung scatter plot lang, no? My values and just created an index out of that. And then you have here a box plot. Okay. Box plot ng my values. Do you recall, guys, what is this line? Ano yung line na to? Ano yung line na to? Ano yung line na to? Yes. For your stat, what's this line?
Sir, yung minimum maximum.
Ito ba yung minimum, maximum?
Outliers.
Hindi, pero itong line na to, ano to? Naalala yung box in this curve plot nyo? What's this line? What's this
Hindi
line,
ko po
guys?
alam, sir.
This is your quartile 1, di ba? Q1, this is, what's this? This is your quartile 2 or your median. This is your quartile 3. What's another name for quartile 1? That's your percentile from your stat.
25th percentile.
Correct. That's P25, percentile 25. Ano ibig sabihin ng percentile 25? It means that 25% of your data points lie below this value. No? Below that value. Malalaman ba natin, guys, kung ano yung value nitong quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3? You recall, guys? Recall nyo ba? Nasa summary function yan, di ba? Summary, my values. Okay? Summary, my values. Yan. Minimum, first quartile, 443.4. Median is quartile 2. Quartile 3, this is your P75, 75 percentile. Okay, so iba guys, iba si minimum at saka si first quartile. Okay, going back here, just a brief review, guys, of your elementary statistics. Ito yung box plot natin. So ano to? What's this? This is quartile 1. What's this?
Minimum.
Hindi, ang minimum andi dito. Yan ang minimum, yung bilog na yan. What's this? This is your, naalala niyo yung yung measures ng yung 1.5 times your IQR, interquartile range.
Yes, sir.
What's your interquartile range? Okay, so ilagay ko na lang dito, i-review niyo yung IQR. Can you review this? Review ito, ha? IQR. Okay, interquartile range, and tell me what this is, online na to, and what these are. So you're correct, these are your outliers based on your IQR. This was developed by Tukey. Okay, Tukey's IQR, interquartile range. Okay, it tells us it's a measure of the outliers of your data. Okay, si minimum, guys, andi dito, ang pinakaliit. So it's outside your interquartile range, which means that it can be considered as an outlier based on Tukey's IQR. Okay? So paki-review nito, guys, ha? It's important for us to know that as teen students. So okay na tong box plot, and summary. All right, so let's go to the third, the structure, right? Data structure is what we'll be using most of the time, and also yung isa pang yung XTS na object, yung time, my time. So what are data frames? It's a table or two-dimensional array. So ang difference, guys, ng vector at saka ng list as compared to data frames, ang data frames, 2 or more dimensional siya. Ang vector, isang dimension lang. Ang list, isang dimension lang din. Si data frames can take on several dimensions, several variables, several columns. So it's a two-dimensional array-like structure where each column contains values of one variable each. One variable, and each row contains one set of values from each column. Okay, so what are the requirements for a data frame? So ito yung importanteng requirements, no? The column name should be non-empty. Dapat may pangalan yung Kunyari, I'll give you an example of a data frame. You have data about, kunyari, employment, no? Mga employees sa isang company. So first one, you have the ID number. So that's a column name. May nakalagay na ID number doon. Tapos family name, nakalagay sa taas family name. Tapos nakalist yung mga andun, mga observations natin. First name, nakalist din. Maybe birthday, so date yon. Maybe minimum salary, numeric yon. Tapos maybe married or not. So pwedeng logical yon, true or false, yes or no. So a combination of data like that, pwedeng quantitative, pwedeng numerical, pwedeng character, pwedeng logical. Ang tawag dun guys, data frame. Anong difference ng data frame at saka ng list? Ang list, one-dimensional lang. Ang data frame, several dimensions. Okay, is that clear guys? Paki-chat nga kung clear yon. Kung clear yung difference ng list at saka ng data frame.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Parang si data frame guys, maraming list. No? Maraming list. Kaso nga lang sa data frame, syempre dapat yung per column, pare-pareho dapat ng laman. Kunyari, character, yung column 1, character dapat lahat laman ng column na yun. Date. Kung yung isang column pa na yung dates, dapat consistent na dates yun. Numerical. Kung yung isang column numerical, then dapat consistent numerical yung laman ng data na ando doon. Okay? So that's the power of a data frame. Kasi yun ang mga ginagamit natin. Kunyari, yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, employee data. No? Ando doon yung first name, family name, ando doon yung ID number, ando doon ang when hired, ando doon yung minimum, kunyari, rate na per hour, example lang. So that's a data frame. Okay, so karamihan ng mga data na gagamitin natin is a data frame. So for example, this one, you have an object called N, 235 siya, si S, ito, si B, and then si C. Okay, NSB muna. NSB. And then we create an object. I-run muna natin to guys. Run natin yung first 3 codes natin. NSB, Control Enter. So ngayon, meron na tayong NSB dito, no? Ito guys, si N. Okay, can you see my mouse? Sandali wait lang. Hindi kasi nakikita yung mouse ko. Sorry about that. Hindi ko lang ha. Okay. Okay, better. Can you see now the yellow highlighter there, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Para mas kita nyo kagad. So here we created 3 objects, Cn, okay, that's a numeric vector, Cs, character vector, Cb, logical vector. And then we can create, guys, an object. And kanina, di ba, yung sa list ang function. Ito naman, guys, df, the name of the object is, let's make it an assignment computer. df, and then data.frame, and then ang element niya, NSB. So let's run this. Yan, di ba? Can you see this now? And then let's click df here. Yan. So here you have a data frame, guys. A data frame consisting of 3 columns. One is N, another is S, another is B. Okay? Hindi ganito guys sa list. Sa list isang dimension lang. So a data frame is an array it can consist of several rows and several columns. Okay? So that's a matrix. That's a data frame. Okay, let's have another example. Take a look at this, guys. So dito, meron tayong create na ang pangalan employee data, emp.data. Okay, we're assigning this name to a data frame. Okay, ang laman ng data frame na yan, ang laman ng data frame is a employee ID. Okay, and then we're giving it a run if, no? Ano yung run if, guys? It will generate numbers, di ba? Tama? From 10 to 1,000. Okay? Ano yung 999? Naalala niyo ba itong run if? Minimum 10, maximum 1,000. And what's 999? Pag may questions kayo about a particular function, anong gagawin, guys? Yan, di ba? Question mark, then run if. Okay, yun sa uniform distribution natin. Okay, but I leave you guys to see what that is, yung complete na run if. Okay, sorry. Ano yung 10, guys? 10 numbers, di ba? Yung size. Minimum of 1,000, maximum of 999. Okay, sorry, I forgot the n. So the n here, guys, yan o. Kita nyo, no? N is the sample size. So, 10 laman to, guys. Next, comma, another object, emp name, and it's equal to, okay, kinoncatenate natin sino-sino. Character to. Si Rick, si Dan, si Michelle, si Rina, Gary, etc. So, it's also a vector. Okay, so it's a vector of names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 siya. And then salary, okay, this is a numeric vector. And then start date is equal to, tingnan nyo to, guys, no? As that date. So this is to coerce these values to become dates. No? So magiging dates to. Okay? And then you have these strings as factors is equal to false. Explain ko na lang to some other time. No? So just be aware kung ano ginagawa ng strings as factors is equal to false. Okay. Well, sige na nga, sabihin ko na. Ang factors kasi class, parang pang-classify yan. Okay. Kung may mga variables tayo, for example, status or year level. So ang year level, ano yung mga possible na year levels, guys? Just shout out, guys. Hello. Year level, guys. Ano?
This is yung fresh graduate, sir.
Yeah, fresh, sophomore, junior, senior, kunyari, no? Or graduating. So, for example, we're creating a survey and all students are asked that. So may mga year level lang sila, di ba? So those are called factors because we can use that to classify the students. Okay, can you give up other examples ng factors? Yes. Give me another example of variables that can be used as factors. Dami. Another example, guys.
Sir, pwede ba based on their course?
O, pwede, yan. Sa Lasal, kunyari, nag-survey tayo, tapos nakalagay dun course. So, pwedeng considered as factor yan. May fin, may marketing, may accountancy. That can be considered as factors. Any variable that we can consider as classifier. Civil status, diba? Or date of, or place of birth. Kunyari kung saan city ka ng Metro Manila pinanganak or whatever province. Okay, that can be, or citizenship, no? Filipino, foreigner, whatever. Those can be considered as factors. Ngayon, pag finals natin, guys, ibig sabihin, hindi i-consider na factors yan. Kunyari, itong mga pangalan na to, we don't want this to be considered as factors. Kasi hindi naman natin i-classify lahat ng mga Rick, lahat ng mga Gary. We don't want that. No? Ang gusto natin na i-consider as factors, yung mga variables which I mentioned. And we can, pwede natin, guys, ilagay yan as that factors. Okay? Diba naka-experience na tayo as.character, as.integer. It means that kung ano man yung laman ng combination, combined yung mga data doon, gagawin siyang factors. Okay? So is equal to false, and then sasarado natin yung dalawang open parenthesis, another open here, so dalawa to. So this is creating a data frame, no? Ano yung mga columns dito? Can you tell me, guys? What are the columns I expect in this data frame?
Name,
Okay, employee ID, tapos
employee name,
employee name,
salary,
salary,
tsaka start date.
start date. Yun, di ba? So, 4 yung columns nito, no? 4 yung variables niya. Sige, let's run this. And it will automatically print it kasi yung employee data natin naka-open parenthesis. Okay, there. There, you have this data frame now. Di ba? Okay, yung employee ID nga lang, ang pangit kasi employee ID biglang nagkaroon ng decimal place. So how can we modify this, guys? Maglagay
Round
tayo
up.
ng round, no? Round. Maglagay tayo ng round and then comma 2. 0 na lang, 0. Comma 0. So ibig sabihin no decimal place. And then another comma here para susunod na employee name. Okay, so let's run this. There. Okay, better. Employee ID. So what do you call this? This data frame? It's called employee data, and it will appear here in your object. Dito na siya. Ito, employee data. So mag-a-appear siya dito sa sa tabs natin dito. So this is the data frame that we created. My employee ID, my employee name, salary, etc. Any questions so far, guys? Any questions? Okay, so let's take a look at this one. So let's create another data frame, example number 3. We first create this object, 1 to 200. So this is an integer vector. And then group. Okay, so first you have, so kung i-combine natin, rep means repeat, no? So i-repeat niya yung word na vehicle for 100 times, and then comma, repeat yung drug, comma, 100 times. So it will match yung ID na 1 to 200. So makikita natin dito sa group, we'll have a vehicle 100 times, and then drug 100 times. And then we have this object, response. Okay, so this is a number, randomly 100 numbers, na may mean na 25 at saka standard deviation, comma. Our norm naman, na 100 din siya, mean 23 at saka standard deviation na 5. Okay? So, 200 items into, guys, 200 observations. That should match the ID and the group. And then let's create this, my data, okay, which is a data frame, okay? And then what's happening here? Patient is equal to ID. Ano ibig sabihin to, guys? Patient is equal to ID, treatment is equal to group, response is equal to small response. Okay, di ba yung ID, guys? That's the first object here. Now, ang sinasabi dito, okay, yung pangalan na patient, na ID, gawin yung patient. Yung pangalan na group, kasi group yung name nito gawin yung treatment. And then yung pangalan na response, na small letter R, gawin yung capital letter R. Okay? Of course, guys, pwedeng diretso na, tawagin na lang natin tong patient, tawagin na lang natin itong treatment, tawagin na lang natin itong big R, response. And then, i-data frame na kagad natin sila. But I'm just showing you another way to do it. No? Okay, so let's generate these groups, this data. Okay, So we have now here, andyan na si, okay, andyan na si ID, no? Si ID, sino pa? Si group, andyan na. At saka si response, andyan na. If I click group, for example, tayo si group. Okay. Para makita natin. Lalagay ko lang dito na para makita ko si group, guys. View. Group. Ayaw lumabas kanina. Ito view group. So mag-automatic yan. No? Kita nyo guys, 200 observations. Yung first 100 dyan, vehicle. Yung next 100 is drug yata. Okay, baka may tanong. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go back to our code. Okay, remember guys, these are just independent objects. Si ID, separate group object yan, si group, it's a separate object. Si response, separate object. And here we're creating an object called my data, and we're combining these objects into a data frame, and then we're calling ID as patient. Si group, we're calling it as treatment. Si response, capital R. So let's run this. Okay, yan no, guys. So yung ID kanina, ginawa niyang patient. Yung group kanina, ginawa niyang treatment. Yung small r, ginawa niyang capital R sa response. Okay, so that's my data. And if we check this out, ito siya, no, my data. 200 observations of 3 variables. Click natin. Yan siya. No? Patient, 1 up to 200. Tapos yung treatment, below, you can see that it's already drugged, no? From 101. From 101, yan, drug na siya. Kasi yung 1 to 100, vehicle. Then response, these are R-norm generated. No? Magkakaiba tayo guys ng R-norm. Okay? Kasi hindi natin sinet that seed. No? Tama ba yung guys? Magkakaiba tayo ng response ng R-norm?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Bakit guys? Magkakaiba tayo?
Walang set.seed.
Hindi natin ginawang uniform yung randomized numbers natin. Okay? Alright, so we'll have different answers here. Okay, some of the functions, guys. Okay, so yung head, alam niyo na to, no? First 6 yan. And we'll have different answers. Minimize ko to. Okay, ito yung first 6 elements, guys, of the data frame din siya. No? Tatlo din lumalabas. Patient, treatment, and response. First 6 elements ng data frame natin. And then you have okay, pareho lang to, no? First 15, first tail naman, last 12. Okay? So these are the last 12 of our data frame. Okay. 189 hanggang 200.
Sir, ano po yung function ng response?
Which one?
Yung response po na function.
Hindi siya function. It's a, it's anong number yung tinatanong mo? It's just the name of the vector. No? It's not a function.
Yes, sir. Pero the value that it's giving, like what's the value pertaining to? Yung 28.6.
Wala. Ano lang to? Parang random lang to, no? Walang meaning siya, no?
Okay.
Well, it's like I think this came from a survey on hindi ko lang sure, no, kung yung response time nila to a certain stimuli. Okay, parang ganon, no? Hindi ko lang maalala kung saan nanggaling itong data na to. I'm sorry, hindi ko I'm not really that sure kung ano yung ibig sabihin nito. But for our purposes, since hindi naman natin talaga tinitingnan yung implications or yung meaning ng mga time na to, let's just say that this is a response time. May stimuli siguro na sinabi dun sa driver. Tapos i-measure kung gaano siya kabilis. Kung gaano siya kabilis, magre-respond to that stimuli, to that stimulus. No? Okay, did that answer your question? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Clear ba yung explanation niyan? Okay, so unfortunately, guys, hindi ko masasabi kung ano yung meaning ng ano, no? All I can do is just surmise or hypothesize that these respondents, 200 all in all, were subjected to a certain stimulus and mineasure yung ano nila, yung response time dun sa stimulus na. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, dim, guys, dim. That's the dimension. That's the dimension of our data frame. This means 200 rows and 3 columns. Anong kaibahan ng length at saka ng ano, ng dim, guys? If we look at the length, okay, anong binibigay sa atin dito? So what does the length give us?
Kung ilan yung columns or yung variable.
Yes, it gives us the number of variables. So yung dimension naman gives us the number of rows and columns. Okay? So structure, guys, structure ng my data. Okay, so this tells us that it's a data frame, no, with 200 observations. Take note, no? Hindi siya list. Kasi hindi naman pwede maging list yan kasi multidimensional yan, no? So, and then these are the objects, these are the variables in our data frame. My patient, my treatment, my response, and sinasabi sa atin kung anong data type niya. Integer, character, and numeric. Okay? Si summary naman, guys, si summary, ano ibibigay sa atin? So, since there are 3 variables, tatlo din ibibigay sa atin na summary, no? What do you notice? What's the difference between the 3? Anong difference niya? So you notice, guys, that yung mga character variables, hindi natin pwedeng kuhaan ng minimum, maximum yan. So count lang yan, no? Binibilang lang siya. Treatment is a character vector, character variable. So binilang siya ng length, na sinabi lang yung class o kaya yung mode niya. On the other hand, yung mga numeric, no? Numeric, katulad si response. So bibigay sa atin yung ano, yung number, yung 5 or 6 number summaries niya. Mean, maximum, first, second, third quartile, at saka yung average, yung mean. When I say mean nga pala, I meant yung minimum. Ngayon si patient, walang value tong ano na to, no? Kasi ID lang naman yan eh. 1 hanggang 20, it's just the number of the patient. So this one does not really have any meaning at all. Itong may meaning to, in response. Questions, guys? Questions?
No answer.
Okay, good. All right. So, just like vectors, guys, or list, pwede natin i-subset din yung data frames. So, for example, this one, my data, subset, first row, second column. So this tells us, this number tells us the first row and the second column. So if we run this, okay, tignan nyo guys. First row, second column. Bakit vehicle? Bakit vehicle, guys? Tingnan yung my data natin. First row, second column. What can you find in the first row, guys? Ito yung row 1 natin, di ba? Discounting the titles, guys, yung names. No? So first row, second column, it's vehicle. Kita, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Then, ito naman, second row, third column. So ito lang yan. Okay. Second row, this is second row, third column. So we expect 38.4 there. Yeah, 38.495. Now you can also get sets of rows. So for example, ito, yung first number guys, pag subsetting, row yan, tapos second column. So this says that get the first 20 rows and then just give us the second and the third column. Tingnan niyo to. Ayan, no? Can you see this, guys? It gives us the first 20 rows and then only the second and the third column. So hindi niya sinama yung unang column, which is si patient, no? Ang sinama lang niya itong treatment at saka itong response. Kasi second to third column lang. How about this? What does this give us? 1 to 20, rows 1 to 20, and then comma. And then if you don't put anything here, ang ibig sabihin niyan lahat ng columns. No? So let's run this. Okay, take a look. No? First 20 rows, and then all the columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3. Okay? Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how about this one, guys? How about this one? My data, nothing here. Ano ibig sabihin nothing here? Nothing in the row. Ibig sabihin nun, lahat ng rows. No? 3. Ano yung 3 dito? Hello, guys.
Response.
Third column, which is response. So lahat ng rows and then just the third column. So hindi nagkasya, pero take a look at this, guys. So ito yung response lang, ano? Tapos lahat ng data sets natin. Ito, yan. Okay. So this is all of the rows and then just the response. Of course, you can save this, guys, as another object. Pero lalagyan nyo ng pangalan dito. No? Kunyari, napaka-special itong data na to. Pwede nyo lagyan ng pangalan siya. Okay, assign name to it so that it appears in the global environment. Okay, another way to do that, guys, is this one. All the rows and then just the response. So, ang sinasabi dito, guys, similar lang to, no? Itong tatlong to pare-pareho lang. Okay, then another way is my data, then $sign response. So this means that look at my data and then just focus on the response column. So itong tatlong to, they're the same. On this, pareho lang siya, guys. Ito din, no? So these three are similar subsets. Okay, then let's quickly take a look at this. Okay, you can also get a subset, tingnan nyo to, no? My data, and then, ano yung first number dito, guys?
Row.
Row, yes. Sabi dito, yung row daw na greater than 26. So it means row 27 and above. Tapos, everything, guys. All the columns isasama. Run natin to. Ayan. So if you take a look at this, guys, this will give us hindi napakita lahat. Pero dito, from row 27 lang to. Ay, sorry. Ano sinabi ko? Ano ba yung rinan natin? Okay. Yung response lang pala, guys. Yung mga response na greater than 26. Sorry, I was thinking of patient. All the responses that are greater than 26, yun lang isasama. No? Tingnan nyo, guys, lahat dito. Lahat ng mga responses dyan, ba yan? Greater than 26. Okay? So you'll not find here in this subset a response that is walang response dito na less than 26. Okay, how about this? My data, yung treatment dapat equal to vehicle and guys, and ano daw? And ano?
Less than or equal to 23.
Okay, yung response, no? So ano ibig sabihin ng end dito? Both conditions have to be met, no? Dapat vehicle siya and also at saka dapat yung response less than or equal to 23. Okay, yun ang rows natin. Ano yung columns natin?
Sir, or
All. Tama, no? Tingnan natin, ha? Let's run this. Okay. Lahat ba ng second column natin, vehicle lang? Okay, if you take a look, guys, at our subset, lahat yan vehicle lang. Tapos ano pa? May response ba na greater than 23? Wala. Lahat yung mga response niya, lahat, less than or equal to 23. Sinama ba niya lahat ng mga columns? Yes. Patient, treatment, and response. Okay, guys? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how about
Yes,
this,
sir.
guys? Yung pangalawa. Sa time na tayo. How about this? Vehicle or, itong slash na to, guys, vertical slash na to, or yan. Ibig sabihin, at least one of those conditions will be met. No? Kaya vehicle dapat or yung data response greater than 21. So pag ganito, guys, pwede ba drug, magka non-vehicle? Pwede ba yon, guys?
Pwede,
Will we
sir.
see in the subset drug? Yes, guys, yes, pwede. For as long as yung response time niya greater than 21. Pwede ba rin tayo makakita ng response time na less than 21? Pwede?
No.
Hindi po, sir.
Pwede rin. For as long as vehicle siya. Okay? It doesn't matter yung response time kung less than 21 siya. For as long as vehicle siya, papasok siya. Dito naman, guys, okay, for as long as greater than 21 siya, kahit hindi vehicle, papasok pa rin siya. So let's run this. Okay. So, tingnan natin, ha. Oh, may mga drugs ba? Yes, pumasok yung mga drugs. Okay? Ano sa mga drugs yung pumasok? Yung greater than 21. Yun ang ibig sabihin, guys, ng or. Any of this could be met. So greater than 21 ba to? Yes. So pasok siya. Kahit na drug siya. Tama, guys? Tama? Meron ba pumasok na less than 21? Meron?
Meron po.
Meron.
Meron. For as long as ano siya?
Vehicle.
Vehicle, correct. Very good, very good. So tingnan nyo ito. Ito less than 21 to eh. It doesn't matter kasi vehicle siya eh. No? Alright? O ito naman, guys, ano ibig sabihin tong exclamation point is equal to? It means not equal to vehicle. Okay? So not vehicle yan. O in other words, is equal to drug. Ganun din yun kasi dadalawa lang naman sila. Okay, so I want to kindly explore this and see kung pareho ba to. I want you to explore kung pareho lang to sa Control C, Control D. Tanggalin natin tong, gawin natin double equal to, and then gawin natin tong drug. Okay. So compare nyo to, guys, kung pareho lang to, ha. Okay. So lastly, it's already time. Okay, last, guys, ito. Ito, nag-create lang tayo ng object, tapos 200 lang. Okay, okay na to. Alam niyo na to. Our norm lang siya, mean 40, standard deviation 20. And then, let's run this. Okay, 200 yan. Random numbers, 200, tapos mean 40. And then here, okay, we're creating, guys, ano to? My data, age ang pangalan. So nagre-create tayo ng isang object na my data siya, tapos yung pangalan niya is capital H. Ina-assign natin yun dun sa age na object na to. So let's do this. Okay, so nagkaroon na tayo dito ng my data. Okay, tingnan nyo guys ha. What happened? Di ba may data tayo, di ba? Yung patient, treatment, response. And then what happened was, we affixed, nag-dollar sign tayo. Ibig sabihin, dadagdagan natin yung my data ng age. Tapos ito yon yung age na to. Okay, so dinagdagan natin si my data. Kanina walang age eh. Dinagdagan natin siya ng age. Okay, so we can keep on adding to your data frame. Kasi ito sinasabi natin, using the data frame, my data, mag-insert tayo ng column na age ang pangalan, and it's coming from this object na age. So if we look at the head of my data, yun siya. Patient, treatment, response, and age. Okay, so right guys, reminder sa Tuesday yung yung assignment nyo. So we'll continue with this next time. Yung date object, we'll study that separately kasi importante sa atin. Okay, are there any questions?
None, sir.
Okay.
No,
So
sir.
itong matrix guys, may recording ako nito yung sa Excel file. Kindly view it guys for next para mas mabilis tayo. Kung pwede lang, watch yung video on explaining matrix function in Excel. Tapos kukunin natin siya sa card. Okay? All right. Thank you so much everyone.
Thank you, sir.